Greetings and salutations. My name is Tish and welcome to the Artist Haven. In this video, we are going to be making some book pockets, aka library card pockets. It's the letter B in ABC April 2025. So I thought, I always call them book pockets because they're in a book and it's a pocket. I got my stuff all ready, so let's get down to it. I've got double-sided pages because I think they look better as a pocket. So the inside's not white because that way you flop it up. Flop it up. You'll flop it up. Words are hard. Anyway, but I wanted to use these. I've been testing a new digital, so these are my test pages, and so why not? And then I've got just the basic colors that are usually pockets are ivory and various shades of brown. And I like the craft style ones because then we can stamp on them and make them whatever we want. And they kind of are neutral. So let's get big whack-a-mole here. I don't know why. Oh, well, my stapler decided to fall over. All right, cool. There we go. So let's get. This is my favorite cutter I've ever owned in my life. I've had guillotine cutters. I've had the little rotary. See, words are hard. Rotary cutter, and they all are nice and they all do their purpose. But this thing, she's heavy, and it's heavy duty. So that's what we do. All right, let's trim off the white edge here and figure out what width we want. We want to keep in mind that we are going to make gusseted pockets for this, so we want to make it just a smidge wider than what we want the pocket to end up to. You know what? Let's make a template out of I'm going to use this. I'm going to cut them at 3.5. And we can use this one too. This is lighter weight paper. Let's cut it at 4 so it ends up to be 3.5. This is lighter weight paper. This is like 34-pound stock, 34-pound paper. And this beautiful green is from one of my digitals from last month, the Divine Feminine. So you can get this green paper just by itself too. All right, so we're gonna flip this up and just kind of see. Yeah, that's about right. Let's see what we come up with here. Let's just bring on our. I've been knocking stuff over all day today. I'm like a herd of cattle in a china shop. Okay, so we want to come. This is 8 inches wide. So half would be 4. So we want to leave about 3/4 of an inch. So we'll come down to 3 1/4. And I think we should be good. No, it's a little bit tall, but I kind of like it. What do you think? Let's do our 1/4 inch gussets. So we're just scoring to the line here. And then we can put this away for a moment. I used to have a notebook that had all of my measurements and stuff in it because it's like my recipe book. I'm a baker. I'm a certified pastry chef. And so, you have, excuse me, you have your recipe book, written in code so no one can steal your recipes. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. So I had my recipe book for all of my like basic things that I'd make. Well, it's in storage. So I'm going off of memory, and my memory is not that great, it seems. Do we want to do 1 inch or 3/4 of an inch? Let's, you know what? Let's divide the difference and do it at, this would be 4, 5, 6, 7/8. So 7/8. We're going to see where that leads us. So we're at 4 by, let's just do 7.5. Makes it a little bit taller. Excuse me, goodness. Yeah, let's do 7.5. It'll make it just that hair taller, but it'll work. If you want it a little shorter, you can make it a little shorter. Let's erase our little mark because we'll use this. So we did 4 inches wide, and I'm taking my pencil. I have paper on my table here, so I can write directly on the paper, and then I don't lose my notes. See, there is a method to my madness. So we're gonna do 4. No, was it 4? It was 4. I believe it was 4. It was 4. Yes. So 4 by 7.5. So I gotta write that down. That way I won't forget. Okay. Let's cut this at 4. Let's do this side. Well, wait, let's do 7.5 first. And then that way we'll get a solid piece down here at the bottom. And then we'll do a couple of 4s here. Look at that. That is almost exactly 4. It's like literally a 30-second off, so it's close enough for me. This is a little over 3. So let's cut this one. If this was 4, then let's do 6.5. Actually, I want that on top. The ratio should still be the same. We'll find out, because I like the little pocket library pockets too. I think they're cute. Okay, so let's finish cutting these out. We're cutting them at 4 inches by 7.5 inches, and then we can move to the next step. This is our prototype, and I like the dimension between this line and this line, so we're going to keep with this. So our next step is to go back and score this line, which divides it in half, so we get this flip up, and then we're going to score 2 lines here, which will give us our gussets, and these are 1/4 inch scores. So when you're designing your own and doing your own thing, then you know kind of where you're going to go with it. A little off center, and like an inch off center, 3/4 of an inch, 7/8 of an inch off center, and then a 1/4 inch on either side to that line. So let's do all of these. And then we have this one too, which I cut the blank ones a little bit smaller. than these ones. I messed up. I made a mistake, but it happens to the best of us, right? Let's take the red pencil and mark where I need to score, which is this 4 1/4. I could even go back one if I wanted to make up that difference that we had in the beginning where I scored it and or marked it and then ended up making it smaller. So I want to figure out what I want for the pocket. So I want that for the pocket because it says admit one, and that's cute. Oh, here it is. So we're going to do one here. And then just a 1/4 inch in for each one. To that score line, which I think it just went past. Yep, it's okay. It's only going to be on the inside of the pocket anyway. So if you go past it a little bit, actually, no, we're going to cut that. Actually, you know what? That's right. We go all the way down with this. See, it's coming back to me. It's been a long time since I've made these, but they're fun. And so this line here, I made a mistake again, because, you know, I didn't make a mistake. I made a learning experience. So this line is actually going to go all the way down, and you'll see why in a moment. Let's get that. See, this is so much easier when you just rotate it and do it. Trying to get your, at least for me, trying to get my big cloddy hands in there. It's just, yeah, not such a fun deal. All right, let's do all of these. Okay, we have these little ones. So I'm going to take one of these. So we want it to have at least a 1/2 inch top, probably 3/4 of an inch. So we're going to go 3 and then back 3/4 of an inch. So, nope, 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 nope. I don't like that. That's too big of a top. So let's do 1/2 is 3. What? So we need it to come up to here. So 1/2 would be 1/2 though. Yeah, so we need to find a happy medium here. Let's go 2 notches down. There we go. Okay, so we are at 2 and whatever that is. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5/8. So 2 and 5/8 for the 6-inch ones. And we might just cut these because I don't know. I'm gonna put a piece of washi tape over that so we can still use it. And do we want to even put gussets in this one? I think for the smaller ones, we're just going to glue along the edge. Okay, so let's get these ones done. This is our practice piece. And so our next step is we're going to take and cut this section out. Tip on cutting a long straight line. Open your scissors as far as your hand can go. Start it, like put it where you want it to go, and then focus on where you're cutting to. And I'm wibbly wobbly today. Okay, then when we get to the end, we're going to cut it at an angle, like that. And then before we flip, we're going to cut this one at an angle. We might actually, you know what, we'll wait on that. So we're going to do the same thing on this side. I don't have this side inked, so, but start it big and wide and then focus on where you're going. Like the tip of the scissors, not the base. Okay. And then we are going to take and fold these back. And we're going to round the corners. And then we're going to round the corners big on the top. I missed this one. There we go. Okay. So we'll go ahead and then where you can see where the corner is rounded here and rounded here, we're going to take this and we're just going to snip. Just like that. So you don't see that little piece. There we go. That one's ready for the next step. Let's do that to all the rest of these. Before we glue anything down, I want to stamp on some of these. So I'm going to lay them out here on my board. Final step, well, final-ish step, because you can take this further if you want to, is to glue all these edges down. And on these ones without the gussets, we just put a line of glue on, fold it up, and press it up, lining it up on the way up. Can I say up one more time? So there we go, and there's our pocket right there. One done. Let's get the rest of these done. Okay, 20, 21. And we can count this as 22. We could put something really cute on the top like that if we wanted to. Just gonna leave it like that. Probably put it in a journal. Some of these I'll divide them up, make decisions, and package them up and sell some of them. Put some of them in journals. and just go from there. If you are inspired to go out and create something awesome today, whether you use this video or not, please tag me in it and let me know so we can celebrate our victories together, because creating something even just for 15 minutes a day is a victory. We get to be creative and do what we love. And I hope you have someone to say I love you to, you know?